Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to go ahead and do a review of the Fear Street series. It's just come out on Netflix. So this is the review for the first one. The second one just dropped like an hour ago. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but we'll go ahead and do this one, and then I'll do that one, and we'll get them both up sometime soon. Anyway, so this is my thoughts on the first one.
Dude, what the hell?
This is exactly why you have no friends.
Look, some gal killed a bunch of people at the mall last night.
Holy shit. Another shady side tragedy. Fits the narrative, right?
Sarah Fear's back. Christ, not you too.
There's no angry, dead witch. The only thing that made him go crazy is this town.
The dude was wearing a Halloween skull mask. How is that not fun? Guys, I think there's someone in the woods.
We're together for one night and dead people are trying to kill us. Maybe we are doomed.
She was so sexy, but so crazy.
Normal bitches don't bleed black blood.
How do we not die? I'm looking at you, witch nerd.
You can't stop it.
Alright, so the first movie, there's been a lot of people talking in Facebook groups and stuff, and there have been a lot of people who've loved them, a lot of people who've hated them, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on the first one. One of the things that a lot of people have complained about is the opening. So I don't give any spoilers in this. This is just, my overall review is positive. So if you don't want to know anything else about it, my review is positive. You should probably check it out. They're pretty good. But a lot of people have complained about the introduction to it. The first 10 minutes of it or so, give or take. Here's my thoughts on it. I enjoyed it. But it's there's a fine line between a tribute to and an homage versus a blatant ripoff. And this rides that line perfectly down the middle. So here's the thing, everybody knows this, at least most people do, is the beginning of it is very, very reminiscent of the original Scream. Very reminiscent of it. So here's the deal on that, really, is if you like the introduction to the original Scream, you're going to love this. If you hate that movie and hate that intro, the beginning of that, you're probably going to hate the intro, and you're probably not going to enjoy the rest of the movie. Because this movie is, to me, it's a love letter to the original Scream. A lot of people have said that they felt like it was a love letter to 90s horror in general, but it rides that line. If you're not a fan of the original Scream, this kind of go either way. If you love Scream, you're going to probably enjoy this. If you hate the original Scream, you're probably going to hate this entire movie. Another thing I want to bring up is the music in this. The soundtrack versus the score in this. The beginning of this is very, very soundtrack heavy. They tried really hard to do what what movies like Guardians of the Galaxy did, the first one, or TV series like Sons of Anarchy did, where they make the music in it, the soundtrack to it, not the score, but the soundtrack to it, almost a character in itself. Using certain songs to lead you to certain emotions and see certain things coming. They don't really succeed in the way that those two did, but they don't fail miserably either, at least not for me. The second half is more score heavy and less soundtrack, so they use the classic score elements to creepy music and happy music and leading up to what's obviously going to be a jump scare, the build up to it using the score. They do that a lot more in the second half than they did in the first. If you like that sort of thing, you're probably going to like it. Me personally, I don't think they succeeded with making the music its own character. I don't think that the score heavy in the second part really worked that well. They could have toned all of that way back, cut back on the quantity of songs that were used in it, and it would have possibly been a better result. It's not per se bad, but they missed their mark. They were aiming and they missed it. That's just all there is to it. It is kind of a negative to it, but it's not so bad that you can't sit through it. Now, the characters in this, you have 3 main characters in it, and then you have 2 kind of outside characters from these. And from the moment they're introduced, you know that. And those 2 characters are Kate and Simon, and they're cannon fodder. You know it from the minute they walk in. They do okay, but you never care enough about them, really care about them. I know it's kind of a spoiler, but if you can't figure that out from the moment these characters are introduced, you've not watched enough horror movies. Anybody who has is going to figure out which ones have a good chance of surviving from the core 3, and then the 2 on the outside, you already know. Simon is there for comic relief, and Kate is there to be a stereotype. They kind of play with the stereotype that she is. She looks one and turns out to be another one. I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. She looks like she's going to be the sweet cheerleader, and she turns out to be the other side of that coin. And then, of course, her profession is a drug dealer. Simon is the stereotypical stoner with the smart comments, the one-liners, the comic relief. And it's about 50-50 with him. Some of the stuff that he says amused me, and some of it I was just kind of like going Hollywood cliche. Characters, the core 3, I really liked 2 of them. One of them I'll get to in a minute. And then those 2 were just kind of there to fill out the Scooby Gang. So one of the things about this is, and a lot of people have talked about this, you watch the trailer, I put it at the beginning of this. If you can't see it in that trailer, you're blind as a bat. It's not just a straight slasher. There is a twist on that. And this is where I think this movie really succeeds. I really liked that twist on it. The witch element above and beyond the slasher element. I really liked that. I really thought that was a cool idea, a new and different kind of way to improve the stock standard slasher. And a way to actually even improve the slasher tribute type thing. It's like what they did with the first Hatchet movie. It's not just the big dude who lives out in the woods. Well, it's the ghost of the big dude who lives out in the woods, you know. In this case, there's a witch behind all of this. There's some supernatural stuff. They have to figure all of that out while it's kind of like a video game, to a degree, kind of thing. You've got the villain in front of you, but you've got to complete the big storyline. It's not just the avoid the killer. So I like that element. I like that twist. I like that add-on, and I thought it was handled pretty well. And like I said, there's one of the main characters that I didn't really care a lot for. As a general rule, I think the acting was fine. I think the little actress was quite good. I just felt that the Hollywood cliche came through in the story too much. The main character, Dina, and her girlfriend, Sam, break up. Sam moves to the other side of town, moves over to the sunny side, and starts going out with a guy. And when Dina sees this, she becomes very upset with this and goes off on her for, denying who she really is. And the Hollywood cliche comes in. They make the guy an asshole. This is my biggest negative for this movie, is they make this guy an asshole. Instead of making him a good guy and her just realizing that Dina was who she should have been with, they have to make the guy a jerk so that when Dina bullies her, and she does, into coming back into this relationship, it's okay. So, that's my take on it. I'm not being super PC with that last element, but that's the way I see it. That's my major dislike for this movie. But overall, I would give it a positive. I would say that this movie is a solid B. As far as theatrical release and as far as Netflix goes, it's probably an A. So as always, guys, all my links are down below in the description. Advocacy links, Teespring links, Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, all of that stuff is down there as always. And like I always say, y'all be good, y'all be safe, and y'all have a good one.